I'm Megan, and I did chapter 22, Who Looks Stupid Now. I started with the scene where one round is holding the gun at Louis and the professor, and so this is just my process work of trying to figure out how I wanted to portray one round holding the gun. So I eventually just ended up with that. And then I wanted the scene where it's more focused on one round against Louis and the professor. And so I started playing with the scene, added in the Mrs. Wilberforce's house, and I added in some characteristics so you know who's who. Just kind of played around with colors. I didn't really like the gray ground because I thought it was too dark, and the white just didn't help because it's more later at night is when the scene happens. So I didn't like that, so I switched it. Didn't like that either. So then I added in some detail like grass, but then I still thought it was too white. So I added in some more detail, but it still didn't help. And then I decided to do the gray sky for the darkness of the night. And then I switched the hat because it blended in too much for me. And then, well, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to decide because I thought it was too much with the white, but then the gray, I feel like it's too dark for the hat, and like it stands out more than it needs to. So then I switched it back to white, and then I changed the smile on Professor because I just thought it was too kiddish back there. It's too crescent style. So then I changed that, and then I added some steps to the house to give that blank area a little bit of detail. And then I also added in the hair for the professor, but I couldn't decide how I liked it. And I played around with it in several other scenes, but I just thought it was too much for all of the scenes, so I decided to leave them out. And that is my first final scene. And then the second scene is I have Louis and the professor hanging one round over the edge of the cliff into the train. So I started with the brick wall that they're kind of hanging them over. I played around with the color of the ground and sky, and then I added in the characters because they're black. I didn't want the ground to be there to be black, so then they would blend in. And then I kind of played around with where they should be there. I added in the smoke, and then I didn't like the arms, the pointy arms. It just didn't look right for me, so I added in square arms to kind of hold them, just kind of dropping him. And then the smoke for the train, and then I changed the ground to be gray so that it's not like they're floating in the air. And then I added in the smile and the hat, of course. And then, like I said before, I was playing with the hair with Professor, but like it doesn't look right with the scene either, so I decided to leave it out. Yeah. I decided to leave it out, so that's my final scene 2. And then I have the conversation between Louis and the professor, and like how they're gonna, what are they gonna do now, basically, like, and what they're gonna do, like, because it's just them two left in the scene, or in the movie with Mrs. Wilberforce, so they're kind of trying to figure out what's gonna happen, what's gonna be the result. So I added in their characteristics, and then I had them hanging the body over, and then I just kept adding in more details, trying to figure out how to make them, what's the word, just to show characteristics more. And then I added in the smoke of like the train coming, because you can kind of see it from both sides. And then that was my final scene 3. And these are my final scenes, 1, 2, and 3. suggestions? Any?
I think you did a really good job with all the details. I think the brick wall in the house looked really good in the first scene. I think you should have kept the professor's hair just so like you can clearly tell it's him, and I don't really think it like overpowers too much like you thought it did. But so I think you should add that back in. And otherwise it was really good.
Sam?
Is that,
Yeah.
so in the first scene, it kind of looks like he's just holding a camera. I don't know, I might change the shape of it a little bit, maybe angle it so you can tell that it is a gun.
Yeah, you might have to, I was thinking about how you can do that. If you want to show the gun as a sort of semi-profile or something, you really have to move him or the people he's aiming at, to get that angle. And I think you may have to do it. The other thing I was thinking about, can we do something with the shape of the gun as we're looking dead on with it?
Something you could do to the barrel of the gun is make it look like you're looking through the barrel. Like in a James Bond movie, you can see the striping inside the barrel. So maybe put some triangles inside of the circle.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Other ideas, and there's one technical fault here that has to be corrected. You should even notice that.
I don't know if this is it, but I thought the bricks on the wall look like they have a shadow behind them. I don't know.
Yeah, you've still got a line at the bottom, and I've been looking at your wall, and I think what you have to do is go back to the wall piece you used to begin with, because you're really just shifting it along, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, which is a great idea. I would go in there, take the shadow effects off. If you want the shadowing, you're going to need to put in a thin black line or a thin gray line, but it's going to have to be a legitimate line rather than the shadow on the shape. And once you get the wall fixed, then it can be applied to all of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading that correctly. Okay, that was the technical problem. Other comments and questions?
In the first two scenes, the professor doesn't have hair, and in the last scene he does.
Yeah, I thought I took the hair off in the last scene, but
Oh, well, I think that I kind of like the hair. I don't think that it looks weird because his actual hair is kind of weird with him. So I think that just the smile, it doesn't say enough about his character.
okay.
So maybe like you don't even have to have the hair, but maybe add something else to show that it is him.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, I understand you were vacillating about that, but I really think the hair was good.
Okay. Abby?
I think for the third scene, like I love the characters and the like how you had the dead man. The only thing is the fact that the smoke is in the back kind of confuses me, because I get that like it could be that the train already like is under with the smoke, but like it really seemed to like cover until the body, like the smoke seemed to cover until they lost the body.
Okay.
So I think maybe if you could figure out something with that, like maybe have smoke like around the edges too, to show that they're in the smoke
Okay.
when they still have the body, because usually when it passed, the body's gone.
Yeah. Zach?
In the first scene, one round, I would round off his edges and make him bigger. You can't really tell it's one round right now.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a little bit of an issue there, and I was, kind of debating about whether you really needed to do it from the other direction, and then I thought the gun would be even more problematic, so I didn't say anything about it. But we do want a sense that he's a big guy again.
Okay.
Other questions and comments? That's a nice job, man.